Well, thank you all so much for coming out to my my little party here with a few friends. And thanks for dedicating this awesome space in my memory, in my name. You know, I'm going to speak off my notes here for a second, but when Glenn came to me first and told me about this, I went to Mary Ellen. I said, Mary Ellen, is there something about me that I don't know? Is there something happening to me? But thanks to the Dodge family, thanks to the Tomich family, thank you to SAD, thank you to the Eagle Fund in Harrington, and especially Mr. Devotie for making all this happen with all the dedication, effort, and time and energy and his thoughtfulness in putting this together, and having Michael and Julia and Marion out here working in that 100-degree weather, helping pick up and work on the pergola here. You know, this is really what happens when people in an organization, this organization, Southern Berkshire Regional School District here in Sheffield, supports new and creative ideas. It's a can-do spirit, and I think Mr. Dodge mentioned that, and it's kind of a theme that keeps going over and over and over. In a lot of ways, what Mr. Dodge was saying is his experience as a young person in the school district was my experience here as a teacher for 34 years. When you recognize me in this space, you're really recognizing all of these students that came with me, that will come after me, and have been here for so many years, certainly from Mr. Dodge's days and before. You know, I started in the school district in 1976, as Nadine mentioned, science teacher, fresh out of graduate school. I was barely 24 years old. I had I always went around saying I was the youngest teacher here. I don't know if Ed Davis remembers that or Bob Kroll that's out there, but I always used to say, hey, I'm the youngest guy here. And when I left, I was saying, hey, I'm the oldest guy here. It was kind of fun for me for a while. My wife Mary Ellen and I had just been married about 3 weeks before I started teaching here. And we came and stayed in the various towns. Actually, I think we lived in almost all the towns when we were renting. I didn't know at that time that I'd fall in love with the district. I remember saying to Wayne Eline, you know, he said, how long do you think you'll be here? And I said, well, maybe 1 or 2 years, and I'll go on. And that was 34 years. Somehow this district hooked me, as it hooks you, as it hooks the young people that are here, and don't ever forget that. I fell in love with the school district. And after 34 years, I continue to love the school district. I'm on a new mission now, and it's that since I retired, it's been 5 years, and I'm going to be standing here someday saying, you know, I retired 25 years ago, and I'm still somehow involved. And you know what? Thank you. But that's the part of this school district that is amazing, that it allows someone like myself to go retire, do my thing, and be able to come back and find a way to contribute. Because I really do love this school district and love being involved and engaged because it is such a special place. Everyone here is encouraged to try something new and something creative. That's the beginning of the Eagle Fund, really. That's how the Eagle Fund got started. And this is a place from my early days with Tom Consolati and every mentor and administrator all the way through, encouraging us to do different things. If you had an idea, you came out, you suggested the idea, and your administrator or your colleague would say, oh, I give it a try, see how it works. And really, that's how this all started, because it came with an idea that the SAD kids had and Glenn had, and look what became of this. You don't know. We really live in a wonderful, wonderful area, and we really live in a wonderful, wonderful time. It's a special district. It really, really is. From that creative can-do attitude, we started SAD, and we built solar electric vehicles. We offered a co-op program in technology and certification. We brought this community together to combat substance abuse. We rehabbed this yellow house. The bulldozer was in the parking lot almost when we took that on. We started this robotics program. We're, you know, the 3-time champs in Massachusetts. We were actually the ISP. Very few people know this. We were the ISP for all of the schools in Berkshire County. We ran the internet through Mr. Vreeland, who I saw is out here, and it was run by students. And again, that was that can-do attitude. A lot of risk involved in that, but again, the administration said, give it a shot, give it a try, see how you can do that. That was when the internet was pretty much text-based. Today, we're doing things like makerspaces. Again, Tim Newman, I think, is out here someplace. Tim and I went to the school board and said, hey, how about letting us do this makerspace? Well, what's that going to look like? Well, we know we're going to have kids working with their hands and technology and electronics and discovery and design after school. And the school board said, yeah, go ahead. And they weren't worried about it. They weren't worried about liability issues. They trusted us, and they gave us some seed money to get that going. Again, that's that can-do attitude in the school district, and if you think that it's like that other places, I don't believe that it is. It really is something that's so much unique to this school district. It's a legacy, really. You know, I often think of those young people that I've had over the years to work with. B.J. Law came to mind, and his letter was so heartful to me, and it really humbles me. And you never know the impact that you have on a student. And BJ's letter, and I've stayed in touch with BJ through Facebook, and I'm learning Facebook a little bit too, and staying in touch with the things that he did. But again, you don't know that when you're offering the courses that we offered, that it would affect a BJ Law. You don't know when you're offering the robotics to a kid in 4th grade, Sammy Schwartz, that she would grow up, become a Google scholarship, have a Google scholarship of $10,000 for 4 years, go to WPI, and I think I can say that she just was off. She's a senior, and she was just offered a job at Google when she graduates. Now, do we know? Yeah, do we know what would have happened? Do we know what would have happened if Sammy hadn't had that opportunity to be involved in robotics? We know Sammy was a talented young lady who would go off and do wonderful things, whatever it would be, but you don't know if you didn't put the robotics there and give the student that opportunity to do those sorts of things. You know, Alex Crawford is another one who came to mind. He was one of the first adopters of our online learning program, and he worked on GIS systems with a professor from, it was a Scandinavian country. And they wrote to us and said, you know, we've never had a young man like this who was so engaged and so involved. And I think, Valerie, you remember Alex Crawford. Alex is getting his PhD now in that field in Colorado. Again, do we know that, would we have ever known, would Alex have ever known that that was the field that he went into if we didn't have an opportunity and we didn't figure out a way to provide that opportunity in the district? Again, back to the online learning, we go to the school committee, we go to our principals, we go to our superintendent, say, we think this is a good idea, what do you think? Give it a try and see what happens. And I know that, and speaking with Chris Thompson and Glenn Devotee, that our online learning is blossoming. We have Becky Gartha, it was Becky Mooney now. Becky and Rachel Pataki were both members of the Tour. Becky was a former SAD president. Both were members of the Tour de Sol team. They were the driver and co-captain of the Tour de Sol vehicle that beat Cornell. What Cornell University said to these two young ladies before they took off in the vehicle on the first day of the Tour de Sol, they said, we'll see you in the rearview mirror of our vehicle. True story. And I will never forget the pride that we all felt while they were standing on stage getting the awards for winning the Tour de Sol. And again, that was a race that had vehicles from lots of corporations, colleges, and universities, a lot more money than we ever had to put in the vehicle. But we had heart, and we had that can-do attitude of the young people that were in that program, and it just so continues here. It continues and continues and continues. And you know, Glenn referenced that we started the first after prom party. We started SAD about 30, I think they're about 30 years old right now. We were the first, or among the first, SAD organizations in Berkshire County. It was called Students Against Drunk Driving, and we took a lot of pride in starting that program way back when, and we weren't sure how it would be accepted by students. And quite honestly, in the very beginning, there weren't a whole lot of kids. It wasn't the cool thing to do, but we knew we were trying to make a difference in young people's lives by maybe helping to save one kid from being behind the wheel of a car when they were drinking. And that continues today. The SAD organization, under Jess's leadership, will continue now and continue for another 30 years. They are an integral part of this community, unlike many other communities in Berkshire County in the area. Go back and ask folks about the SAD organization, and they will have touched someone or someone in their family from our young SAD members when we would go to Pittsfield and do the candlelight vigil in honor of people who had lost their lives as a result of a drugged or drunk driving related accident by lighting a candle in that memory. These kids didn't know these Berkshire County other folks who had passed away or the families, but they came and they supported those families. And that says a lot about the heart of this organization and about the spirit and courage and just the character of the young people in this organization, as you keep hearing on and on again. You know, I'd like to say to all the students who are still here, for all of you who are still here, If you don't try something new and creative, you're never going to know what happened. Go to your teachers, bug your teachers. If you have an idea and you want to do something, propose that idea. I know that your teachers are open to those ideas. I know that your principal, your superintendent, and your school board are open to those ideas. If you don't dream it, I don't want you to come back here in 5 years and say, or 10 years and say, I wished I had tried that. Do it. Just try it. If you fail, so what? Get up, pick it up, and move on again. You can never imagine what that impact would be on you if you don't at least give it a shot. And that's really something that's in the DNA of everyone in the school district. It's in the DNA, as Bill was talking, it's in the DNA. It goes all the way back to when the school district was formed. When people say, what's so special about this district? I can tell you all the things that happen. I don't know how it happens here. And when you stop and read the paper, or you listen to our band, or you watch the robotics team, what is it about this organization that continues to strive with such a small group of people? And it's because they have heart, they have a can-do attitude, they have a supporting community, and people who really care about what they do in this community. I want to close with one thought. It was on September 11th. We had my new friend and my old friend, Wes Peterson, gave a presentation at the Historical Society. And he spoke about the history of the Historical Society. But before we had the presentation at Dewey Hall, and it fell on September 11th, the Sheffield Fire Department came out and they did the fireman's prayer. And as each of the members of the fire department in uniform read the prayer, Wes would ring the bell. And Wes would ring the bell. And it was quiet. We did it outside. It was very thoughtful and very respectful. And I went back inside into the presentation to start. And I looked at Wes, and I looked at the people there, and I reflected. And I'm doing the same sort of reflection today when I sit here and look at everything that's going on here. That's the kind of community that we all live in, that I am proud to say is my second home. I love Sheffield. I love the Southern Berkshire Regional School District. Mary Ellen and I live about 15 minutes over the trees over there. It's with a great sense of pride and honor that I say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for dedicating this space in my name. It's really all of ours, and all of the can-do attitude and the good heart that we have in this community. Thank you so much.